Welcome to In the Know, a series that gathers industry leaders to share ideas that are in motion and insights that drive impact, and ultimately keeping you in the know. I'm Natalie Bastian, CMO of InMarket, and I'm joined today from Austina from Subway. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name's Austina Manz, and I've been with Subway for the past 5.5 years, running the U.S. investment strategy, media strategy for Subway U.S.
Amazing. Thanks so much for being here.
Of course.
Let's kick it off with what's one shift that you're seeing that's happening right now?
The biggest shift that we're seeing and the biggest shift that we're implementing on is moving from more of a broad demo base to true audience first strategy and figuring out how do we get underneath the different audiences that mean the most to our brand from like a core and a growth perspective.
And what does that do as far as when you move to more of an audience first strategy? What does that look like as far as the impact that that makes on your media?
So when we were testing how do we accelerate our first party data and our audience strategy to get to this consumer first mindset, we saw, I think, 32% lift in tests and 34% lift. That was local tests.
Wow.
And then 34% lift in conversion rate when we went national with it. So we've seen quite an increase in our conversion rate based on moving to fuel for first party.
That's amazing. Well, that's an amazing idea in motion. How are you measuring success?
Yeah, so we think about success for our business. We think about just maintaining the core, and then how are we driving that incrementality against those consumers? So which audience are we seeing the incrementality come in real time? Obviously, we're using products like InMarket to help us determine how can we see this within a condensed time frame? How do we look at this in a biweekly and a monthly? And then what are the optimizations and pivots that we're going to make in those time series as well?
Yeah, I mean, the importance of real time and instant data to help you decision, I can imagine, has to be extremely vital in order for you to drive more impact.
Absolutely. And especially when we're talking about Subway as a ubiquitous brand, we have over 20,000 locations in the US. So we have an opportunity to optimize across a big portion of the US, especially with our first party data. So getting that real time helps us decide not only where we want to invest, but also how we want to speak to them and just determine how we can continue to crank up the incrementality against those consumers.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, obviously Subway is a household brand, household name, but also has a huge competitive set. So
Yes.
being able to stay ahead, especially getting that local granularity, I'm sure is
Absolutely.
really important.
Yep.
So let's close with an instant insight. What is one thing that that you think leaders need to know and act on today so they don't miss out?
Yeah, so I think something that we've all been hearing about has been AI, the use of AI. How do you incorporate AI into your day-to-day? And something that our team has found useful is figuring out, or taking different data sources, dumping them into your AI, tool of choice, and allowing it to kind of do the work of multiple analysts in one, and synthesizing that information from what would have been a multi-week process, touching multiple different teams, engaging with your agency, to now just putting something together in a matter of 4 or 5 minutes, and it frees up other resources to be proactive on different parts of the business. So really adopting AI and testing with it and playing with it and figuring out how you can get deeper insights and what actions you can take from those, while also just freeing up overall productivity from your team.
Yeah, I mean, speaking to the real time like optimization and data, that's just more on the strategic level. And then when you can layer in AI on the operational level too, it just makes your resources, your talent, your team, your agencies work that much harder for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. Well, Austina, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. And thank you all for tuning in.